Okay, I'm going to call the September meeting of the board to order. Welcome everyone here. We've already done that once tonight, but the record will show that Joanne is unable to be here. Other than that, everyone is here. The agenda was circulated, so my understanding that there's an addition that staff wants to include.
That the LPRCA Board of Directors adds an additional item to the closed meeting agenda regarding litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the authority.
Someone moved that be added. Mike and Jim, all those in favor? It's carried. Now we need a motion to approve the agenda as amended with that addition. Moved by Doug, second by Ray. And then other additions? Anyone? All those in favor? That's carried. We have our agenda. There is a provision for the declaration of conflict of interest. Anybody have one? I was going to say anybody got one, but that's what we're saying. Okay, moving on. Minutes of the previous meetings. There's a motion that the minutes of the board of directors meeting held July 3rd be adopted as circulated. So you feel comfortable moving that? It's chaired by the vice chair, second by Peter. Are there any errors or omissions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That motion is carried on. Business arising from the minutes are being told that we had a conflict. I think it was with Norfolk County or Oxford County. Somebody had a conflict with the original scheduled budget meeting, and we changed it tentatively to November 13th, which is a Thursday. That need everyone's approval. If so, the motion would be that the Board of Directors approve scheduling of the 2026 budget meeting for Thursday, November 13th, 2025. Someone move that. Rainey moves it. Second by Mike. Last call for any changes. Those in favor? Opposed? November 13th is our budget meeting. We have some committee minutes. We did have a audit and finance committee meeting. Mr. Chair of the audit and finance committee meeting, do you want to add anything to that?
I believe everything's there, Mr. Chairman.
Minutes
You received?
received.
I will.
Right, second year. It was there, I'm sure it was there. All those in favor? Opposed? That's out of it. We should be approved. Approved? You adopted, that's received. Okay. Sure. You know, with that. Yeah. No correspondence, the planning applications are before you. You can receive the report. Someone can push the motion on the table to receive the report. You can then ask questions. Moved by Jim, seconded by Peter. Are there any questions to any of the applications? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The report is received as information. New business, the general manager report, Judy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, as you saw in the report, the Kingfisher Derby was a success with 100 children participating, and this was the 27th Derby at Deer Creek. Lily Brown Marsh Management Committee was held on August 20th, and the Leighton and Betty Brown Conservation Scholarship was awarded to Jared McPherson. We did hear from WECI on August 8th on the projects that were successful, and we are receiving, we applied for 5 projects for year 1, and 5 were approved. In year 2, we applied for 4 projects and only 2 were approved. The RFPs have gone out. They close next week, September 11th. And we'll bring an update, report to the board, say we'll bring that to the board October meeting. We're doing some research, with, Ontario Woodlot Association. They received some funding and they wanted to partner with us. We're gonna do some pre-treatment of hemlock trees, on 3 of our properties. And staff have gone out and they've, inventoried 3,465 hemlock trees, and they are retiring a contractor to do the treatment on the trees, and then there'll be a study to follow up to see if that's a good preventative treatment. Also, the War of 1812 reenactment is going forward on this weekend, September 7th and 8th, and we have raised, well, the time when I was looking at this today, we had $2,150 to support the event. And then Sarah Pointer, the curator, actually brought in another $1,230 that was raised from the seasonal campers at Bacchus. So that was a nice added addition. So we have 155 reenactors registered currently. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty robust event this weekend. So,
Good, you didn't miss the
well,
memorial.
yes, and sorry, and then Memorial Forest is on September 15th at 2 p.m.
It's my intention to attend the Memorial Forest Day. But if I can't, would someone like to attend in my stead? Someone attend? Does anyone regularly remember that? Peter? Yes, if you can attend, then I again, it's my intention to be there, but I never know from one day to the next where it's going to be. So if we have a couple backups, then if I'm not there, you can speak on behalf of the if you're.
Mr. Chair, Jessica has speaking notes and she has provided to you, but we'll also provide them to Pierce. And just in case. And that's on Sunday, September 15th, and it starts at 2 p.m.
Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to attend as well, but we have the Norfolk County Agricultural Hall of Fame that same time in Waterford that Mr. Haskett will be inducted into the Norfolk County Hall of Fame. So, if anybody's bored and wants to bounce around between 2 places, so Stephen Waterford back in something like that.
Just wanted to mention that I have emceed this event several times in the past. You know, we've had as many as 150 people attend. I don't know how many are booked for this year registrants, but unfortunately I would attend, but I've got my 50th graduation at university as well that same day in Aurelia, so I cannot attend. But it's valuable time spent if you've never been there before, and it gives you a real uplifting feeling to help plant a tree.
And that's why I hopefully I can attend, but if I don't want to someone not be there. Let's hopefully Peter can be my best friend. Okay, are there any other questions to the report? And we need a motion to receive the report. It's moved by Seth and correct. Moved by Chris with a copy cup in hand. Moved by Randy. All those in favor? All opposed? Motion is carried. Aaron is going to talk about the purchasing policy.
Q2 Sean.
Oh, sorry. We'll do that first then.
Yeah. Right.
So we'll move right into that, and I will look so foolish up on civics.
Thanks for the time. So the Q2 financial report provides the board of directors for the actual versus budget results for the 2024 fiscal year up to and including June 30th, 2020. For the period, revenues totaled 3.785 million with expenditures of 2.59 million, resulting in a surplus of 1.195 million. The revenues represented 62.2%, and the expenditures represented 44.1% of the annual budget for the full fiscal year. Revenues are 221,000 greater than 2023, or up 6.2% year over year for the same period. Expenditures are 282,000 greater than 2023, or 12.2% higher than the prior year. The operating surplus of $1,194,903 for the period up to and including June 30th is $60,970 less than the 2023 surplus of $1.256 million, or down 4.9% year over year. Planning user fees are down 15.1% through the second quarter to 120,000 from 141,000 in 2023. This is an improvement since the Q1 report came to the board, where planning user fees were down approximately 40% year over year. So planning activity has picked up through the second quarter of 2024. Camping revenues as at June 30th totaled 1.563 million in comparison with 1.483 million in 2023. At the end of the quarter, 447 seasonal campsites have been registered in comparison with 451 for the full season in 2023. Overall, the authority is in a positive position for the period up to and including June 30th, 2024, with a surplus of 1.194 billion, and it's expected to remain on budget for fiscal 2024. If there's any questions from the board, I think.
Are there any questions? So we'll move that the report to Tom and Peter. Any final questions? All in favor? She's carried. Yeah. Now,
Thank you, Robert. So the current purchasing policy was approved in February 2015. The draft policy was presented at the Finance and Audit Committee held August 16th, and the committee recommended the policy be presented to the full board for consideration. The purchasing policy is currently part of the LPRCA personnel policy or human resource policies. The current policy is attached to this report. It's attachment number 2 on pages 47 to 51 of the agenda package. The updated draft purchasing policy has been developed based on other similar or like-sized conservation authorities purchasing policies, and the draft purchasing policy is attached to this report as attachment number 1. The draft policy clearly identifies who's responsible for enforcement of the policy, the principles and the objective of the policy, who is authorized to make purchases and what their limits are under the policy. The policy also identifies when it's required to report to the board of directors in section 7.0 or page 43 of the agenda package. It also identifies who has authorizations and limits in each section. The second paragraph under section 7.0 states that authorized limits based upon approved budgets in the items in the approved items in the budget that have been approved by the board of directors. Authorized limits have remained the same for everyone except for management and the general manager. Manager's approval limits have increased to 20,000 from 10,000 budget approved, and the general manager's authorized limit to 75,000 from the current 20,000 for budget approved items. These limits are restricted to board approved items and are the same as similar to other size conservation authorities. Methods of procurement are defined under section 7.2 on page 44 for request for quotations, request for proposal, and request for tenders. Exemptions to the methods of procurement are covered under section 7.3 on page 45 of the agenda package. And section 7.4 identifies when reporting is required to the board of directors if required. If there's any questions from the board,
This was discussed and presented at the audit committee.
Right, I'll just speak to that. The audit committee met a few weeks ago and got into this with quite detail as to what is needed. It's an update from, I think, 2015 was the date. So, the numerical values have changed and values have changed since that time. So the audit committee supports the draft here that Aaron has done. And as I said, we went through it in a considerable amount of detail, and we're quite satisfied with what you presented to the board for approval.
That having been said, are there any questions to either? And you've seen the recommendation is that, they reviewed the personnel policy and that, the shall be approved as presented. Something to accomplish, Mr. Chair of Regional. Seconder. Chris was also at the, audit committee meeting. Any final questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Now, Judy has, wants to talk about the draft watershed-based resource management strategy. Mr. Lowry is here as well to assist him with any. Well, just, you had a compliment, Judy Jan, sir.
Engineering type. So, yeah, Lori actually, spent a lot of time putting this together and working with staff on, draft watershed-based resource management strategy. So the purpose, of the report is to present the draft strategy for the board's information and obtain direction to undertake public consultation and advise the member municipalities of it. Ontario Regulation 686/21, which is mandatory programs and services under the CA Act, requires CAs to prepare the strategy along with public consultation. In Appendix A, which is actually on agenda package page 107, has the full regulation that's applicable here. And it's due by December 31st, 2024 to MNRF. Or no, sorry, it's just MNRF. The strategy is to ensure the authority programs and services respond to the watershed issues. And it sets out LPRCA's goals for resource management and the guiding principles for decision making. And that's on page 80 and 81 in the agenda package. The strategy describes the critical resource management issues in the watershed. So it goes on to also list out the programs and services with respect to the watershed resource management goals. And then we have tried to identify the program risks and gaps along with an implementation guide. So as part of the public consultation, an online survey will list the guiding principles and goals and ask to score them from strongly agree to strongly disagree. And that's back to that page 60 and 61. So on page 81 to 104 of the agenda is the LPRCA program review with the action items, which have been translated into projects and tasks in the implementation plan. As noted in the financial implication, there are recommendations for programs and services improvements, and that would be put into consideration for future budgets. The board members are welcome to provide the feedback with the online survey, or we're also having an open house scheduled on October 1st from 6:30 to 8 to invite the public in to ask any questions and just discuss it with staff members. So that's all I have, unless we can go questions or if there's any specific.
Are there any questions that you, with regard to that? This go.
Thank you, Chairman, and if you go to page 85 of the agenda, the first chapter in the actions to support the strength and delivery. develop an outreach program for reserve residential property owners and municipal officials. Just wondering whether we're getting out of our lane there, like the outreach program would be with the municipal officials. I don't think our job is to get to the people themselves, right? It's the municipality who's responsible for the safety plans and all that. We provide the resources, give them information, tell them what's going on, but is it crossing the line that we developed our own outreach program for the citizens?
And Lori, feel free to chime in here. There will be further the question or not?
And I don't have a question here, but I'm very good right here with the under the implementation.
Okay, let's have on an information, but the develop an outreach program for reserve residential.
So maybe the piece is missing there is EMS.
It says work with municipal, so under
I think work with municipalities is great. I don't think it's up to their job to work with the residents. Is that crossing the line of
So
somewhere?
I think Chris, if you go, what Lori's saying, if you go to page 86, under the implementation plan, it's work with municipal flood coordinators to develop an outreach program for resort residential property owners and municipal officials. So it's really providing some technical support. But we would be the lead on that. So they would just needs to be up in the actions. Maybe we could just put in there.
Municipality can create that. Don't try to create one on our own, right? So,
Yeah, so we can update the actions and that last column. So that's a good, so it's all cross referenced. Yeah.
Anything else from anyone? Again, it's a work in progress. We will be in a consultation, so if anyone wishes to review it in depth, this Lori and Julia, we take a chat. This is in the meantime, read this resolution as presented. That the board of directors receives the draft watershed-based resource management strategy. It's gonna be a shorter way to say that. That's information, and that the board of directors directs staff, undertake that consultation on the draft strategy outlined by Judy, and that the board send a letter to the participating municipalities to advise them the consultation period of the draft strategy. That's the next steps. Any final questions? Someone would care to move that, to move it forward. Rainey moves it, seconded by Jim. All those in favor? That resolution is passed, and we're on to the next one. And on to the next part of the agenda, which is the draft conservation land strategy. Be confused with the watershed-based resource management studies.
All right. Chairs, so like the chair has said, this is another strategy that's required under the regulation 68621. And it also requires public consultation, and the deadline is the same, December 31st, 2024. So this strategy is to provide an integrated high-level framework that helps guide, manage, and inform future decisions on LPRCA owned lands or controlled lands. The strategy also links the purpose of the land holdings to the programs and services of the authority. The strategy sets out the objectives on the agenda page 129. There's also a chart with action items and the connection to the 3 land classifications used in the strategy. And Conservation Ontario led the group for the CAs on trying to bring some consistency to the different classifications. So across the CAs that we're talking similar language when we're classifying different types of land. So there'll also be an online survey which will ask for feedback, and also there will be a function which to rank the 8 objectives from strongly agree to strongly disagree. And again, the financial implications as noted in the report will be included in future budgets for the board to consider any actions that we'll take as a result of action on our land.
Any questions? So again, this is a work in progress. The resolution that I have is that, draft, saying and, the board of staff will take the public consultation and, participating municipality be advised accordingly. So it's fine.
I have one comment for, everybody, if I can. This is great, but I think we could dress it up a little more to keep the higher level of them happy, because Norfolk County especially has so much other land that are owned by other levels of government, NGOs and all of that. And I think we have a tendency of working with them to do more like block planning rather than just individual property within, surrounded by NCC property, provincial property. Maybe we could add another paragraph in there, how we try to work with those other groups to protect those valuable resources.
We do address that in the land strategy. We do touch on that
Yeah, you touch on it, we dress it up a bit more.
in the strategy or in
Like we do, there's a lot of programs that join, 3 or 4 different property owners that are all public access land by NGOs or levels of government. And we try to coordinate those kind of things.
okay, so
Section 1.7, the coordinated national heritage plan. You can bring a little bit of it up to the job.
Makes it part of the action strategy. It's written. Step that is noted. Ahead, or any other comments, questions, suggestions? Would someone
Be happy to turn to the draft thing.
with those comments and anything?
Stop and think on it.
Okay, got a second, all those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. And that takes us to the next item on the agenda, which is the Lee Groundwater Fall Management Committee. That means in the second.
thank you, Mr. Chair. So the Lee Brown Waterfall Management Area and Capital Reserve was established by the board in 1988, and it was updated on the end of 2004 to have 35% of surplus from operations put into the reserve. There's currently $42,149 in the reserve as reported in the financial statements. At the Lee Brown meeting on August 20th, the committee considered a staff report which proposed increasing the percentage of the surplus to 70% to be transferred at year end to the capital reserve. The 30% remains with the authority to cover administrative costs. With the changes to the State Act, this aligns with segregating expenses for category 3 program and services. So the committee had asked me to take a look at percentage. So they all agreed and asked the report be brought forward to the board for consideration.
Any questions? Peter?
So saying then to assume that we'll see a reduction in expenses going toward Lee Brown Marsh on our general budget, since they will be receiving more funding from their surpluses.
So currently the Lee Brown operation is segregated. So what this would do is actually put more money towards, for capital future purchases, like if they need seawall, they need equipment, specific to the marsh operation. So it just helps build that reserve. Just how different than what we're having to do with our equipment that we need for the parks, another category 3 item.
Any other questions? This is a resolution I have to read. It's, that the LPRCA Board of Directors receives the LBWMA Capital Reserve Report as information, and that the LPRCA Board of Directors approves an increase to 70% of LBWMA surplus to be transferred at a year end to the LBWMA Capital Reserve. Repeat that.
Okay.
All in favor? Or do I have a motion on moving?
So moved.
Second by, any questions? But don't, I'm not gonna repeat it because I can't.
MC.
Your letters. See,
Like we said.
all those in favor? Motion is carried. We are about to move into a closed session. And there's some move that the board have moved into a closed session to discuss litigation, potential litigation, and to the matter before administrative tribunals. Recommended by Jim, seconded by David, all those in favor? This is carried. And you have, this is where we had the executive committee channel that you can talk about. You're now on camera. So if we're good to go,
Next meeting.
good to go. Next meeting is in October sometime. Starting in October, be here. We don't want me here. Things adjourned. Say goodbye, Mom.
Thank you.